Hey everybody, let me switch this around. There we go. Can you hear me okay? Can you guys hear me? All right, let me get myself set up because I was scrambling to eat dinner and everything. So excuse me for my tardiness. Okay, let's see here. I don't really have anything planned to do other than clean up my mess and let you guys know kind of what's going on. So let me get situated here. All right, I need to pull this up so I can see what everybody's saying too. And plug in my power because I'm out of juice on the phone. Let's see. Hopefully we don't end up with buzzing. You tell me if we do when I plug it in. Is it buzzing now? Let's see here. Oh, there we go. Okay, good. Let's see. Yes, I was kidding up a new one. Let me get my... Okay. There we go.
This is Jada.
Oh.
She paid off all her...
Hang on, I gotta watch an ad first.
Here's how she did it. Hi, my name is Jana.
There we go. There. Okay. How's everybody doing today? It has been a crazy week for us. Oh, man. So, can you still hear me okay? Because I'm away from the phone now. Okay, good. So, here's what I'm kidding. I wanted a little one. So I picked out... this is hard to do. There. Come on. Where is it? There. I picked out this little one. Figured I'd do something fast. And let's see here. So, as a lot of you know, we put our house up for sale, I think it was last Friday, so 8 days ago. And we had 2 private showings on Saturday, one of which put an offer in on the house, no contingencies whatsoever, just had to pass home inspection and passed the home inspection, no problem. And we had a rental contingency on there that we needed to be able to find a place by, I think it was April 1st. And we found 2 places actually. Brian had given a check to a landlord that he had not met, but we got to go inside, and the people that were renting it had lived there for 8 years. So we met them. They loved it. They loved the neighborhood. They were buying the house next door, yada, yada. We met the landlord's mother, gave him a check, and then I found another house that was like, I don't know, $700 less per month when you considered the rent was less and it included the utilities. So we called on it, and the landlord, well, texted back and forth, and the landlord said, hey, go on over. When you get there, let me know you're there, and I'll give you the code for the lockbox. And it was like a digital lockbox. And it also had the old-fashioned kind with the little spinning wheels, and, you know. So we get over to the house, and the code he gave us didn't work. Tried it over and over and over again, and he says, well, I told my plumber to just leave the back door open just in case you couldn't get in. So we go around through the backyard, back by the pool, sliding glass door is open. And then you guys saw the video of me showing the inside of the house. So all looked great. It was nice and big, utilities included, wonderful. This is going to be perfect. And Brian, you know, he had him send the lease over. We signed the lease and all this stuff. And he said, well, wire me the first month and deposit. And immediately he and I were joking, well, it sounds like a scam wiring him the money. You know, we haven't met him. But he talked to the lady at the bank and she said, yeah, well, you know, it is kind of an issue around here, but, you know, some landlords, that's what they require because they want to make sure that you don't do a stop payment on the check when you've moved into their house, especially if they don't live locally. So we just went with it and wired the money, and we were set for Brian to meet the landlord on Saturday to get the keys. And the landlord texts him, and my mom needed to go to the hospital. I'm not going to be able to make it. Maybe by 1 o'clock, and Brian's waiting around, and finally he just calls the police. And yes, the house had gone through foreclosure 3 years ago, has had one tenant per year for the last few years, but this guy does not own it. And now, by the time we figure this out, the bank is closed on Friday. Yeah. So with the wire, really not going to get it back anyway. But Brian still is communicating with the guy because he wanted, after his mom had to go to the hospital, he now wants last month's rent also. So Brian's still talking to the guy because, you know, oh, you weren't there to let us in on Saturday. We're not comfortable just going in the back door. We're going to need to change our lease agreement to a different move-in date and yada, yada. And I told him, you know, well, tell the guy you'll give him last month's too, but he needs to meet us there. So the police are talking about setting up a stakeout sting, whatever, try and get the guy, because that's about the only way we're going to get our money back. But yeah, that's where we're at right now. So that was borrowed money on top of it for us to pay the deposit for the house. So we're up, you know, shit creek, no paddle now. And it's been kind of awesome. So yeah, they even said something about getting the FBI involved. But then last night, because I didn't know that this was something that was common. I'm naive. I came from a little town, you know, I have no clue. But I started looking on YouTube, and this stuff's been going on for a decade, and I didn't know. And so one of them was somebody interviewing somebody from the FBI, like Nightline or something. And they said, yeah, they usually don't get involved unless it's in the millions of dollars. So I kind of doubt that that's going to happen. But yeah, so now we're trying to figure out what we're going to do, because once the house closes, we will have the money for the apartment. But you have to get out of the house before you can close on the house. So that's where our snafu's coming in, is trying to figure out how to get out of the house without somewhere to go, because we don't even have the money to put the shit on a truck. So it's like craziness. I do feel fortunate, though, that some people in all these videos I was watching had it way worse than we did, in that one particular house here nearby, this was, I think, a year ago, the fake landlord rented it out to, I believe, 12 families. They all had the same move-in date, and they all started showing up to the house one after another that day, realizing that the whole thing was a scam. And a lot of those people were coming from several states away. I know one family was from Indiana, another from Georgia. So they're moving cross country, pulling up to a house, and it was a scam. And a couple more times we heard about people who actually took the go through the back door and let yourself in. The landlord even told us, call a locksmith, change the locks. I'll refund you the money it costs to change the locks. So just go ahead and move in, have a locksmith change the locks. Some people have done that and then have been arrested for trespassing and all of their belongings lost because of the fact that they were trespassing. So we're really lucky that we didn't just follow his advice and go through the back door and move our stuff in. So I know one man was saying he got lucky. His house that he went into got sold at auction a week later, and the LLC that bought it gave him some options. They said you can either buy the home, of course, that wasn't an option. You can lease it, and I'm guessing the amount of money they wanted for the lease was more than what the man could afford. Or option 3, they were going to give him a cash payout in 30 days to move. So he actually ended up in a better situation that he still had a month of somewhere to live and somebody paying him to get out. So not our case, but yeah, craziness. Yep, can't trust anybody these days. We've become very shocked at how much of this is going on down here. Apparently it doesn't just stop with rentals. People have purchased homes and lost $30, $40, $50, $60,000 for this same scam. People have bought boats and found out that they just wired all the money for a boat that isn't true. And these people are actually selling the cars right out of people's driveways on Craigslist. Car for sale, yada yada. People go look at it and they'll hand over a money order and hand them a set of keys, and it's a stolen car, or it's somebody's car sitting in their driveway and they're just at work or something. And yeah, this is ridiculous what's happening down here. It is absolutely crazy. So yeah, so now of course, the thought is go back home where it's safe, but God. So the property management company, okay, yeah, that was absolutely the idea we had. Okay, let's call a property management company. The property management companies now are even putting in their agreements that they will not be held liable for scams because it's happening to them too. Apparently it's very difficult to figure out who the real owner is. So these scammers are listing their properties through property management companies, and it's still a scam. It's just a multi-level scam, and the property management companies don't realize it either. The police are saying it's really difficult to figure out who really owns the house. Takes a lot of digging, and the rental market here is so competitive that we have seen it over and over again since we started looking like 2 weeks ago, that when something comes up on the market, it's gone like within an hour. So it's like you have to move fast, and they want that money immediately so that you've secured it and you don't have time to do your due diligence to protect yourself, or somebody else is going to snag it from you, because a third of them are legit. And that was with the guidance we were given by one of the real estate agents, is about 2/3 of the listings on Craigslist are scams. So it's absolutely insane, and it really kind of shook our faith in whether or not this is going to work down here, because it is so scary. You don't know who you can trust. One of the things that they did bring up, I guess I wasn't there when Brian talked to the cops, but one of the things they brought up was it's a lot easier for them to get away with this stuff because they might not even be in this country, the places you're calling, because they use like Google phone numbers or whatever, and it forwards the phone number, and they can be in a completely different country. And because it's so incredibly culturally diverse down here, you don't think twice about it. Having a really tough time understanding the language barrier, all of that. Whereas if this was back in our hometown, it's not particularly culturally diverse. It would immediately bring up red flags. Not to say that that's, you know, people unlike yourself who are doing this, but it's so much easier for somebody in a foreign country with broken English, I think, to get away with this stuff when you're in a metropolitan area that's, you know, we're probably the minority here. It's such a melting pot that, I mean, people from all walks of life, which I think is wonderful, but you know, it just opens the door for people from other countries to scam you and have you wiring money that bounces from bank to bank until it's out of the country and gone. So crazy, absolutely crazy. So yeah, even the property management companies are doing a cover your butt now with language in their contracts that they won't be held responsible for fraudulent listings. Yeah, play the lottery. That's what Brian said. Exactly. So yeah, we're trying to figure out now what to do. The kids both are in college. Quinn for sure is wanting to stay here because he's in an engineering program in one of a really good school and doesn't want to transfer and lose all the progress he's made. Jesse kind of same thing. They both like it here. We've had just one thing after another, you know. Brian's like, God's trying to tell us something that we're not supposed to be here. I don't know what the universe is trying to tell us, but it's not a pleasant message right now. So yeah, so many of these scams, and yeah, we were naive because, you know, we grow up in a little teeny tiny town where this stuff doesn't happen. We didn't, you know, have any of this stuff going on, so it's nuts. But yeah, but I do know that there are lots and lots of wonderful people in the world too. So it hasn't, you know, necessarily shaken my faith in humanity. Just, I guess, making me a little more wary and skeptical and everything else. And I had even joked around with Mrs. Coffee about it, going, yeah, it's probably a scam. We probably just wired our money to some scammer. And yeah, I guess in the back of my mind, I had a gut feeling, but we were so desperate to find a place that that we did it anyway. So it's nuts. Yeah, New Yorkers don't trust nobody. I actually, with all this happening last night, I was watching dozens of YouTube videos, and one of them was a lady who had moved down here a couple years ago, and it's a channel about, you know, her adventures of moving. I think she was from Massachusetts down here, and so she has videos about, you know, whether you should live in Clearwater or, you know, Holiday or this or that, pros and cons and all this stuff. And a couple of her videos were about rental scams, and I'm like, damn, I wish I would have known this stuff before I started looking, because I just screwed myself. Yeah. Anyway, so that was, yeah, should have known when I found that place that was bigger than the one he found, and it included utilities, because it's like, holy crap, it includes utilities too. That's awesome. No, that's a scam. So we're trying to figure out now whether we're going to go into an apartment. One of the discussions we're having is the boys, their schools are fairly close to each other on like the north side of Tampa. Possibly getting an apartment for the kids to share, Jesse and Quinn, put them in like a 1-bedroom apartment, and Brian and I take like another 1-bedroom apartment somewhere else, and, you know, split it up that way, because it's easier to find 1-bedroom apartments than 3-bedroom apartments or 2, whatever. But trying to figure out, because both the kids want to stay in Florida, whether or not Brian and I go back to Wisconsin. So we would end up having to help them get a place regardless. And it would make it easier for Brian and I to find something if we could get a 1 or 2-bedroom apartment. We do both work from home, so that's why it's like, it'd be really difficult if we didn't have an extra room for an office, because especially with me selling insurance and everything, I have to have confidentiality for my phone calls. I can't just be sitting in the living room, repeating people's personal information. I have to have privacy, even from my husband hearing my phone calls. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what we're going to do, but yeah, we'll see. But anyway, so I just kind of wanted to give you guys a heads up on, if you are looking for rentals, to be extremely careful. In all of those videos I did watch, I learned some tips. Does your insurance insure Red Room? What is that? Let's see. I'm so incredibly sorry this happened to you. When my son and I rented the house that we're in, we almost got caught up in one with a different house. Thankfully, we took this house. Yep, Amber, I had no idea that this goes on. The tips that I did learn, though, from watching the videos, and I watched lots of them. Number one, make sure that you meet them in person for a walkthrough. However, that is not enough, because one woman was arrested who did this in my town, Riverview. She would go into foreclosures. She'd break in or whatever, have a locksmith change the locks. She would then show the house to people, take the money order or whatever from them, cashier's check, hand over the keys, and the keys that she would hand them didn't fit the locks. So even if you get a walkthrough, that doesn't guarantee it. The second thing is to never ever wire money to anybody. Well, okay, that kind of was a big red flag in my head anyway. But yeah, like the first guy, we gave him a check, personal check. But a lot of these places say no checks. Those are probably scam ones. Another one was to check the county records to see who the title owner is, and to see if the person that you're dealing with is the title owner. But they get around that by, they'll take the title owner's name and create a Gmail account so it sounds like them. Like Bob Smith 2712 at Gmail. So you're thinking this is the right person. It's crazy. What was more things they said to do? Property management companies, but even the property management companies are getting duped. The one thing that seemed pretty much safe was to go to an apartment complex leasing office, like on site, rent from them. But then, of course, you're in an apartment, not a house. How do you rent a house and not know it's a scam? We haven't figured it out yet. So, I don't know. Wendy, if you call 211, they'll help with the first and last security deposit. I looked that up, Karen, because somebody else had told me about the housing authority, and I read through the criteria to get help from them, and you have to have a signed lease already. So that would be an issue in number one, as competitive as it is, to get somebody to rent to you and then you're on assistance, they're going to rent it to somebody else. And I know they can't discriminate. They'll come up with some reason. So yeah, you had to have a signed lease already or already be in a place. The other help they give is to avoid foreclosure, which that isn't our case anymore. We've got a closing date on the house. So yeah, I don't know. There was some other church resources that we were given, and I looked into those, and that was more like temporary housing that they would put you in, like a little studio apartment kind of thing. But I don't know. But yeah, craziness. It's craziness. So yeah, we're gonna try and find a place probably for the kids at minimum And then possibly a big enough place for everybody, or a separate place for me and Brian, or Brian and I are going to go back to Wisconsin and the kids will stay here. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. The one huge issue we would have is if we do go back to Wisconsin, I don't know that I'll be able to keep my job. So I can move anywhere in Florida and I'm fine. But if I go out of state, there's issues with, I'm licensed in Florida to sell insurance for the other 50 states, but I'm not licensed in, Wisconsin. So it would be relicensing me, and the company's probably not willing to do all that. So yeah. Anyway, good times. Good times were had by all. Can you try a hotel since you can rent weekly and it wouldn't be expensive? I suggested a lot of these things. Creative Mayhem, I absolutely am on board with you. I told him just put the crap in a storage unit or whatever and get a hotel. He is so stressed out right now. He's on the verge of a mental breakdown, and the thought of having to move twice is like freaking him out. The thought of going into a 2-bedroom apartment with 4 people is freaking him out. Because I even said, well, just put the shit in a pod and get a furnished apartment or something. Get something with a short-term lease, month to month, whatever. And then we'll take our time finding something that's going to work for, the next 2 or 3 years. Because we're figuring it's going to take a few years until we're really back on our feet. But yeah, for him, just the thought of putting all of our shit in storage, and then the heat and humidity and the bugs here ruining all of our crap. I'm like, well, then sell the crap. And it's just, his brain is melting. I'm like, just sell everything we own again. And we'll just sleep down at the beach. And yeah, he's like, I'd rather just pack up and go home. So yeah. Moved into a motel between moves. Yeah, when we sold our house in Wisconsin, we sold it in, I think, October of 16. So we had to get an apartment until June when we came here. So that's what, 9 months, 8, 9, 10 months, whatever. We sold the house with all the furniture, so all we really had was a few things of our own, our clothes and a couple pieces of furniture. We bought like the cheapest possible furniture, like the pleather couch from Menards for $100. Cheap stuff, card tables, the folding card tables. We lived on that in a 2-bedroom apartment for that 6-8 months or whatever, and we nearly had mass murder going on. It was so hard with all of us squeezed into that little apartment. And yeah, so I don't know if his mental health would be able to take a situation like that. You got a guest room? Hey, possibly, Laura. We'll put the kids up in an apartment and we'll come visit you. Brian can clean your house for, rent. Yeah, so I have no idea, but yeah, I don't know. I'm more, I guess, of we'll figure it out. I'm more of an optimist. I tend to be a little more calm about things. Like, I don't think 12 steps ahead. I'm only going to worry about the problem right in front of me. And he's more of a snowball effect of, okay, here's the scenario and here's all the possible, like a chess player, all the possible ways it can go wrong. And then here's this one and so it's like brain melt thinking of all the possibilities. And yeah, I'm more of a, okay, so we need an apartment. We need rent money. How do we get rent money? Well, we sell shit. And Brian's more, well, if we sell, the bedroom set, then we'll have to, get a different blah, 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 blah. I don't know, whatever. Let's see. Hey, VRBO, those are legit. VRBO, We did that weekly, not to throw another option. No, throw options in. What is VRBO? Vacation rental by owner. Yeah, I had suggested that because there's actually there's a few houses like right in our neighborhood or the next subdivision over that are available for rent short term, like through December 1st. And that was where I originally started. I said, let's just go into one of those and that'll give us time to find a decent place. And that's where he's like, I can't deal with 2 moves. And furnished, yes. And I said, hey, and here's one that's furnished, here's one that's not. And so it's really, I guess the thought process right now is I don't mind moving. I really don't. I like it. I'm weird. I love to pack and unpack. I think I've moved something like 20 times in my life. And I'm not talking just like one from like 1-bedroom apartment to, I mean, like whole houses I've moved like 20 times. And I like it. Freaks him the hell out. But yeah, the whole idea of furnished place and putting our stuff in storage, he's worried that everything will get trashed and destroyed with the heat and the humidity and the veneers all pop off and bugs will eat through it and all that stuff. But and that's why I said, well, then just sell the shit. We can live on, card tables for a while, but we saved up a long time to get that furniture, and I don't know, whatever. Yeah, the bugs are very bad. Yep, lots of critters here. But if you need to offer, oh yeah, we are both allergic to cats. But do appreciate it, Laura. How many hours away are you from me? Oh gosh. I seriously am starting to think that my life it's like too unbelievable to seem like it can be real. Climate controlled storage units, yes. Now here's the problem with all of that. We have already a storage unit that his John boat's in, and the rent on that. My PayPal is linked it's in the video description. It's also in the header of my channel. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Time to write a book. Exactly. It's like, I feel like there's so much weird shit going on that it's almost like this woman can't be serious. She's got to be making this shit up. Like she's a pathological liar, but I swear to God, this is all true. And it just doesn't feel like it could possibly be true. It's just so bizarre. But hey, who knows? Now, there's one more very serious thing going on at the same time, because this isn't enough. So Brian's mom has not been doing well for quite a while. She is now they took her back to the emergency room again. Yes, there's more. And they're trying to get her stabilized. She's on a respirator. She has like some sort of lung infection been going on that they can't get rid of. And so they're trying to get her stabilized, but I don't know, Brian, I haven't talked to his parents, but yeah, Brian says that he really just kind of has a gut instinct that this is gonna not be going on too much longer. So it's really stressful for everybody. And of course, he's, I'm sure, feeling very guilty that he wants to be able to go up there and see her. But with all of this going on, with trying to sell the house and the foreclosure and all this other crap, for him to go up there to see, it's like come back to, his family sitting on the curb kind of thing. So, yeah, it's craziness. So, Yeah, I hope that she does do better, but she's very, very underweight. She's, she's probably, I'm guessing, I don't know, 5 feet tall and 80 pounds. So when she gets sick, there's just nothing. She's so frail to begin with that with this constant infections and pneumonia and all this stuff, yeah, they've got her trying to just keep her stable at this point. So yeah, it's kind of crazy, but anyway, enough about all that. Hey Cheryl. So let's see what else is happy news lately. I have Valerie McMillan sent me some packages. I have it recorded. I haven't had time to edit, but you guys will be able to see what she sent to me. Hi, Dawn. And what else? I think it was kind of cool though that we did sell the house so damn fast. It actually happened with the last house too. I think the first people who looked at that one put an offer in, full price on both of them. So that was kind of cool that we didn't have to wait long to sell them. I mean, you sell them, 48 hours for full price. And we actually, because we weren't sure if we are going to be able to get out in time for the primary person, we ended up signing a backup offer too. It's not as much. It's like an 8,000 less or something, but we do have a backup offer, and we heard there could be a third one coming in. So I don't know, but yes, Brian does, Amber. He takes very, very good care of the houses, and we've always done pretty good with it. It's just not a lot of money we put into it. Clean it. We did paint both houses. That's expensive. It costs a lot in paint, but we've made profits on both. And this one would actually be a slight profit too, even though we've only owned it for 2 years, which is pretty good. It's hard to make money on a house without doing major renovations in the first couple of years, just because of the commissions you pay to the realtor. So thanks, Deb. Yeah, you got to stay positive. Somebody's got to stay positive, because otherwise it's just a bunch of mopey faces around here. But yeah, he's taking a break tonight, and he made a very nice dinner for all of us. We had chicken and broccoli, and the kids are watching the movie with him now and stuff. But yep, new paint, new roof, update the kitchen. Exactly. That's common, that you got to put in major money to make a profit. But we've been pretty good with the last two. Cosmetic stuff, no major construction or anything. We did redo a bathroom in the last house, but yeah, for the most part, because he's cleaning. That's his industry. He just cleans it really well, so that it's like you wouldn't think twice about getting on your knees and licking the floor. So yeah, everything will work out. I am sure of it. It always does. It always does. There's always, been tough times, I think, in everybody's life. And if we're sitting here tonight, we survived it. So we'll survive this too. Absolutely. Just gotta try and keep a level head, try to stay positive. It's hard when we're this stressed out to not just rip each other a new one on a daily basis. It's a lot of effort to not play the blame game and point fingers and yell and scream and get mad at each other. So yeah, we've had our share of not so pleasant moments in the last couple of weeks, but yeah, we're getting through it. And today, actually, with as stressful as it was, finding out, because he told me this morning that it was a scam. I didn't know that yesterday. I got off work, and I think it was, or maybe it was yesterday, whatever. He told me, and we had been kind of arguing, and we immediately just kind of came together and, okay, now what do we do? So, yeah. I don't know. I'm kind of fascinated by the whole crime aspect of the whole thing because I watch so much IDTV. I'm like, ooh, you know, to actually be like the victim and all this stuff. But yeah, it's like, okay, like I told Brian, well, tell him that you're fine with giving him the last month's rent because you feel bad about his mom, but you want him to come over and explain how the hot tub works first. And you'll give him cash just to get him over there, and then the cops can bust him. But yeah. Yeah. Yep. Thanks, Randy. Yeah, we've got each other to lean on, and unfortunately, to beat each other up over it too. That's going to be natural with as bad as things are going to not be pointing fingers. But yeah, we'll see what happens. I guess I'm more of a live in the moment and deal with the immediate problem where he's the long term plan thing. So I'm like, just put the shit in storage or sell everything, and we'll go into, a sleazy motel that has monthly rates. And he's like, hell no. We need to figure out what we're going to do long term here. And I'm more minute by minute, put out the fires and ignore the forest burning back there. So I don't know. We found out it was a scam because he was supposed to meet the landlord there on Saturday, Wolfpack, to get the keys, and the landlord, he his mother needed to go to emergency to flight for life hospital thing, and then immediately asked for another month's rent to help pay for her hospital bills, and I can't get there, maybe tomorrow, and all that. Yeah. Benadryl, yeah, I would be okay with it, Laura. I know that if I'm around an animal long enough, I will become immune. And Benadryl, that would make me go to sleep sooner, because right now I'm staying up till 1, 2 in the morning, and it gets later and later all the time because, as I'm sure many of you know, our minds start to twist and turn at night, and you can't shut it off, and you can't get to sleep. And yeah, so Benadryl might do me some good. You're gonna support my allergy meds. Yeah, I'll start a fund just for the Benadryl fund. I'm good with generic too. Yeah, so yeah, I don't know. So we did start looking the other day at the possibility of 2 small apartments, one for us, one for the kids. And that occurred to me because I could get 2 apartments for less than 1 3-bedroom. So that's a possibility. Put the kids up by their school, and then, we would be able to go somewhere else. And that's the other issue too, is we've got his trailer that can't be outside because it's open air trailer, so we have to get a garage to keep it in. Plus it's worth a couple $100,000, so it needs to be secure and locked up. And the way he built it was custom built for our garage, which has an 8-foot garage door, which is taller than most garage doors. So we are having a very difficult time finding. We haven't found any house that is a garage big enough for it. And even going into storage units, apparently the standard size door at those store it yourself places is 7 foot. So he found a place to rent a garage or a storage unit, self-store for the trailer. It's a year lease. And get this, okay, so my hometown, you could rent like a 3-bedroom house for $750 a month. Okay. This storage unit just for the trailer is $350 a month. Then we've got a storage unit that the boat's in. That's $200 a month. So just the storage units are like a 2-bedroom house at home. And then of course the houses here are like, unless it's a crack house, they're around $1,700 to $2,200. It's ridiculously expensive here. But silver lining, the insurance is cheaper for the auto insurance where we were thinking about moving. So we'd save a little money there. So, yeah. I have new said anything in our community, but now is the time. I will take money I've been saving for one diamond painting and will send it to your PayPal and make this a challenge for. Oh, thank you so much. That is very sweet of you. I really appreciate that. And I really wish that I $13.25 a month for a 3-bedroom. Absolutely, yeah. Move to Phoenix, yeah. I've been able to find things anywhere from, like 2,200 for a 3-bedroom down to, like 1,500 for a 3-bedroom. But then, we still have to get the storage and everything else. So I don't know. I don't know what we're gonna do, but I think it's probably gonna be least expensive for us to put the kids in a 1-bedroom apartment to share, and then for Brian and I to get a 1 or 2-bedroom apartment or something. So $12.45 for a 3-bedroom in North Dakota. Yeah, sure. Again, seasonal work if he's doing exterior cleaning. So, how much of the year can he spend running a pressure washer outside? Oh, thank you, Crafting with Christy. That's very sweet. I think what I'm going to do is, okay, I need recommendations, and I'm going to start writing shit down because I need to write shit down. What's the best place to sell stuff online? Because I used to do eBay 15 years ago. Is it eBay? Is it Let Go? Is it Craigslist? Where do I sell my shit? Because I'm going to start selling my stuff. Probably sell a lot of my, I don't know, something. I'm going to start selling something. 4-bedroom here is $900 a month. Yeah. Yeah, down here, I mean, you could get ridiculous. They have places that are like on Clearwater Beach. Now, those are absolutely ridiculous. They're $14,000 a month. We're not looking there. The most affordable one that looked like it wasn't a rat hole that I found was today. I found some 3-bedroom for, I think it was 15 or 1,600. And then, of course, you'd have to rent a garage on top of it, which would be another $350. So now we're at $1,950. And then you'd have to rent another garage on the apartment for the boat. Sell the boat, but again, he built the boat by hand, so it's his sentimental baby thing, whatever. But it's like my craft table. Asking him to get rid of his boat would be like asking me to get rid of my craft table. It's really hard to ask people to sacrifice things like that, but if you have to, you have to, right? So Facebook Marketplace, that's the best place. Facebook neighborhood groups. Poshmark. Okay, I need my piece of paper and pen to start writing this down. I was looking at the Facebook Marketplace stuff because I didn't even realize that existed. Okay. Okay, so Facebook, Poshmark. Does anybody know anything about Let Go? Is that worth it or forget Let Go? Mrs. Coffee is concrete, so lurking for mystical emotional support. Foreclosure house. Get them at fair market price. Yeah, that was one of the places that I think was for rent, was a foreclosure. It was available through December 1st. Offer up. Okay. Poop. Oh gosh. See, I'm just old school. I just want to have a garage sale. Because then I don't have to ship the crap. I don't have time to be packaging stuff and standing in the post office for an hour. So, yeah. Poop. Posted on other pages. Okay. Yep. Shane, my income, now that they're garnishing the support out of it, um, yeah, we'd be lucky to afford yeah, we can't. We gotta get Brian working, and that's another issue with trying to get a place to live, is putting us hopefully in a place where he's going to be able to do decent business on top of it. So it's not going to help if we're an hour commute from where he's going to be able to make money, because of just the amount of money he's going to spend on gas and everything else, driving back and forth for quotes and everything else. So whatever, because he's pulling a 10,000-pound trailer with him. So yeah. F2F is posted on many sites. Oh, Palms. Okay. 4-bedroom double wide. 16 a month, 1,600 a month. Yeah, that sounds about like what it would be here for a 3-bedroom redneck beauty. 3-bathroom, holy shit. I even told him, our credit is shot now because of this whole thing with the foreclosure pending, and I'm getting rid of that and all that, and debt to income ratio. But I said, well, can't we qualify for some sort of program to be able to buy a home again? But I don't know. Apparently, he's already looked into all that. And, they have a lot of stuff for first-time home buyers, but we are not first-time home buyers, so I don't know what's going to happen with that. But there's plenty of trailer parks here. I said, shit, rent a trailer somewhere. But actually, in all the looking, oops, spinning. There we go. I haven't seen any for rent, so I don't know. Flea markets here, you can rent a booth and stay set up until it sells. Oh, yeah, that's true. My problem though is I work on Saturdays. So yeah, I don't know. We were talking too about selling his car because we already sold mine. Selling his car, but now that there's Craigslist down here, yeah, but apparently you got to worry just as much with the scammers selling your crap. We got taken for the rent. Well, they'll take your shit and then give you a bad check. So I don't know. I don't know how to avoid it. I really don't. Cash only, but yeah. So I don't know. I'm scammers are very bad on Craigslist, absolutely. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to do at this point. So cash only. We'll see. But yeah, I'll probably start selling off some of my stuff. I've got, I got plenty of old craft stuff that I can get rid of. We talked about some of the furniture we can get rid of. $550 a month. Wow. There's affordable places around here. The problem is though, like I said, is keeping him somewhere where he's going to be able to make money. Because we could move, I'm by the Gulf. If we moved inland between here and Orlando, the rent is very affordable. But the potential for him making any money with his business is, so I don't know. You hope people take your challenge of donating the price of one diamond painting to help you out. Good deeds are better than just good words. I so appreciate that gesture. That is very, very sweet. Owen, I can't even tell you how much that means to me. I really wish that I even could say anything that people helped with, that as soon as the house sells, will pay you back. But it's like, frick, it's just one thing after another. I can't guarantee there's not going to be another catastrophe. So I even wanted to say that back in October when I asked for help was, you'll get your money back when we get out of this, but it's just one freaking disaster after another. So I don't know, but purchase your stuff and resell it for a profit. Yep. Yeah, I do have a couple of things that I could get rid of that I've tried selling in the past. Like I have that antique side by side downstairs. When I was in Sheboygan, I was having a tough time with bills and stuff, and so I had an antique dealer come out and look at it. And I used to be huge in going to antique stores, so I know what they sell for in a store. My side by side, you would typically see it in a store if it wasn't in good shape, maybe $650 up to $1,200 10 years ago. And that's when he came to give me a value to buy it. Well, so mine was in perfect condition. So I'm figuring he'll probably offer me $900, sell it for $1,200. No, he offered me $300 for it. That's the heartache when you're in this position, is taking nothing for your stuff. You know what I mean? So. Michelle says, I accept your challenge. I'm going to PayPal Wendy half of what's in my bank. Oh, Michelle, and exchange rate sucks, but everything helps. Oh, Michelle, you are so sweet. You have helped me so many times. You're going to make me cry. Really. This is what keeps me having faith in humanity. You guys are so sweet and nice and generous and kind-hearted, and I think that the punishment for these frickers who do this to people is they should be strapped to a chair, forced to watch people doing kind deeds because they're assholes, such assholes. Thank you, Rachel. Yeah, apparently, yeah, like I was saying, there's the woman who was doing it here in my town, Riverview. She was breaking into houses, changing the locks, renting them out. They'll rent the same place to dozens of people, and they all show up and move in, and then they get arrested for trespassing. I watched another one, and it was a vacation rental. This was in, I think it was Lake Tahoe, and this family rented a vacation rental, and it was like a mansion, and they went in there and they're hooping it up. I think it was Easter or something, and the homeowner got home and he's peeking in the blinds, like, who are these people in my house? And he walks in and they're like, who are you? And the girl screams and everything, and he's like, this is my house. Then the next day more people showed up to his house, and that's one of the things you keep seeing on these news shows is the homeowners who have their house for sale keep having people show up in U-Hauls, because what happens is they'll put their house on the market. The scammers are pulling the photos off of the MLS, making Craigslist ads to rent it out, making up excuses why they can't be there to let them in, having them wire or whatever form of payment the money, and doing it to over and over people over and over again. But I was watching, thank you so much, you guys are awesome. Thank you very much, Connie and Redneck Beauty and Crafting with Christy. I so appreciate it. Thank you, Spasmodic Arts, like button. So I was wondering how let me think of how to say this. I kind of lost my train of thought. Hit it, Rachel, hit it. With the so they take the pictures off the MLS and everything else, but the kids and I used to watch Catfish, And that, you know, he showed how to figure out who people are and everything. So that was one of the tips that they had in one of these videos of how to prevent being scammed, was to take the photos from the ad and plunk it into the Google search and see if it comes up as a home listing. But from Catfish, there's a way of doing the reverse phone number lookup too. And this guy is still texting back and forth with Brian because he doesn't realize that we're onto him. So I'm thinking, when you do that, won't it tell you where they are? Like who the phone is registered to or something? Unfortunately, I gave half my bank account. She owed me money, but I can offer free therapy. I've already used your free therapy, Jennifer. She has already been helping me through this. If people use this much effort into scamming people, put the same energy into getting a real job. Yeah. Throw away the phone, Wendy. Using a Google phone number, unless it's a free phone. Yeah, apparently this guy has a woman that works with him in cahoots, and she already has a warrant out for her arrest, I guess. They use throwaway phones. That's kind of what I figured. And then the Google phone number thing, that was one of the things that I learned last night too, because there's a woman who is in Arizona renting out properties in Florida, and her phone numbers that she uses are all local phone numbers because she's using the Google phone thing. Hunting my son to start a GoFundMe, and he will send you money on the first one we get paid. Oh, thank you, Amber. Doesn't a phone have an IP address like the internet? Well, that was what I was wondering, Deb. So here's the thing. If he actually has him on the phone, you know, when they get kidnappings and stuff or murders and all that, and they can triangulate from the towers, the location, can't they do that kind of shit? And again, I watch too much IDTV. But I would think that you could figure out where-ish this guy is. I don't know. I have no idea. But yeah, it's just bizarre that I don't know. I don't even know how they figure it all out. IDTV is live. It absolutely is. And I was so addicted to it last summer. I sat out there when I had my days off. I would just sit out in the sun and watch IDTV on my phone or tablet like all day long. And Brian hates that shit. So yeah. Yeah, I don't know, Deb, the FBI, yeah, but like I was saying earlier, that I saw it on a video where they interviewed the FBI, but that was a couple years ago. The FBI doesn't get involved unless it gets into the millions. Wants the TV longer than 10 seconds, it's his fault. You know, they do an awful lot of news broadcasts about this. We could call the news, but I don't know that that's going to help us at all. Especially since we're trying to not necessarily let on to the scammer that we're on to him, because we're still in communication. So Brian's doing what he can to try and catch the guy, because according to the police, that's the only way we have a snowball's chance in hell of getting any money back, is if we actually find the guy. So I don't know. Studying for a life of crime. Yes, Elizabeth, my husband thought I was studying how to kill him. Make sure to send me a link for your GoFundMe that I can lift up. You know what, Amber? The GoFundMe is in the description, but also is my PayPal. PayPal does not charge fees. They don't take anything out where GoFundMe does. So if you do have PayPal as an option, that would get me the entire amount rather than them taking out their charges. News might be good. Some real person might come forward with somewhere for you to live. That's true, Michelle. That is true. Yep, it seems like every couple months there's another story about it happening to somebody else in this area. You got hacked for $685 this week from a person in China. What happened, Yvonne? How did they get you? See you later, Spaz. said download an application called Crash App and use the code Joe Rogan. All in one word gives you $5 just for starting. Donates $5 to charities at the same time. Someone got your card number. Oh, geez. Oh my goodness. Well, I know it happened to Cindy. Somebody got her card, and that's why she did her video about the duct tape wallet card holders she was making so that people couldn't scan your cards. Cash App is awesome. Thank you so much, Jackie. Yeah, it wouldn't matter these days if anybody got our cards because they're all maxed out. But yeah. Yeah, the police did say they wanted to look at the rental application that we had sent in because they'll use that to then steal your identity, especially if you're ended up putting, your name and address and all of that was on there, date of birth, but you want to know specifically if we put our social security numbers on the application because then you just gave them everything they know to steal your identity. So, yeah, it's like, oh shit, what all did we give them? And then they were also saying that if you're texting with them and they send you like the lease agreement as an attachment, either to your email or whatever, that you've now just downloaded malware onto your phone. And so we're kind of freaking out about that too. And it's like, shit, what all did we just get ourselves into? It's really scary. So it's craziness. But yeah, got you for $800. Oh, good enough deposit money somewhere else here. Yeah, that was the other thing, Michelle. Some of the places, it's like, okay, the amount that they want for deposits around here ranges so much. This one was first month and security. So it was $2,700. The security was $1,000 and the rent was $1,700. $2,700 is what we wired the guy. Then you've got the places that are like $2,000 a month, but they want first, last, and security, which is $6,000. Plus they want another like $400 or $500 for the dog deposit. So $6,500. And then, whatever. Then I find places that they just want like first month's rent and a $400 security deposit. And then those sound too good to be true. And you're like, well, now is that one a scam? So it's so hard to know, do you go with the one that wants a whole bunch of money because that would just be like really ballsy to try and scam somebody out of that much? Or is it the ones that are like, I only need $400? So that's why I'm right back to the whole go to an apartment complex, walk into the leasing office and rent an apartment because that seems like the only safe thing you could do. But yeah, I know. Do they want my liver too? Probably. Good thing they don't want my lungs because they're not worth anything. Someone tried to steal $500 from us through a PayPal account. PayPal released it without blinking. We had to fight but got it back. Now you're scared of PayPal. So how did they... I don't even understand how this shit works. How do they get in? I thought PayPal was secure. Michelle, we might be able, put together. I mean, they would just be practicing, huh? Oh, your 2-year-old's running around naked. I might be too soon crafting with Christy because I'm going to sell all my clothes. Just be running around naked. Clearwater Beach. Maybe I can bring a harmonica and a cup and start, I'll be one of those entertainers for the tourists because I think it's spring break. I can go down there and panhandle. Yep, Cherry, I thought PayPal was secure, but I have heard other people say too they don't trust PayPal. They're using software to hack into people's computers and bank accounts. Yeah. Hi, T. How are you, sweetie? Someone at Walmart got your bank routing and created checks and got us for $7,000. Oh my God, Dawn. See, and that's the thing. Okay, so people can get your routing and account number because, hey, remember when we used to write checks for everything? It was right there on the check. So yeah, you write a check to a scammer, now they have your bank account information. So how the hell do you pay them? I even said to Brian, I don't know if this would work either, because I'm brainstorming. How do we do this safely? Okay. Credit cards. You can file a dispute for fraudulent charges or whatever on a credit card, right? So would that be a way of paying somebody your rent money, is put it on a credit card and then dispute it? I don't know. But in order to do that, we would have to have the money to pay off the credit card because they're all maxed out. So we have no room on the credit card to put a deposit. Your husband only uses checks. Yeah, PayPal account for many years. Never had a problem either. 15 years, never had a problem. Makes me sound old. So yeah, I don't know even what the safe method of paying somebody is. You give them a check, they've got your account information. You give them a money order or a cashier's check or wire, you're not getting it back. If you put it on a credit card, I suppose you could dispute it. But then for them to run the credit card, they've got your credit card information. I don't know. Here we have yes or no to pets, and you have to pay 4 weeks rent and 2 weeks in advance. But here we have week to week pay for fortnight with pensions. I noticed that you talk monthly. Yeah, here rent tends to be monthly. Usually most places it's due on the first of the month. There was one that gave you a discount of $100 if you paid it before the first. I wouldn't do that, but credit union offers fraud protection. Yeah, I don't know how. There's no way to dispute a wire transfer. I'm so confused. Yeah, we're a little confused too, especially Jackie, since I used to work, I was the lead in the wire department at a bank. And even I'm confused. So, yeah, we're trying to figure that out. From what the police were telling Brian, they do some verifications before they send the money, like they needed an address, and the guy did not give Brian an address for the wire instructions. So he texted back and forth with him, got an address, and then I guess the banker looked up the address, and the name of the LLC for the address he gave didn't match the address when the police Googled, I don't know. But anyway, the bank thought it was okay and they sent it. But once, from what I learned from the videos yesterday, you've got about 72 hours to try and recoup it. But if the wire got then either sent out of country on the initial transaction, or it hits the next bank and immediately gets transferred out of country. Once it's out of country, it's over with, it's gone. And apparently that's the typical thing they'll do, is they'll set up wire transfers to get the money out of the country. So, I don't know. Someone tried to steal money of mine, but jokes on them, I only had $1, so it kept bouncing. I hope they didn't keep charging you NSF fees, Elizabeth. I really hope, karma comes around for people who do this to other people. I feel so bad for these people I watched in these stories who like packed up their families and drove cross country to show up and find out there's nowhere for them to go. It's crazy. I've been scammed selling my car. Alarm bell started going off that something wasn't right. Spoken to the fraud police yesterday. T, you just got scammed? So they took the car and the check bounced, or what? The bank never should have sent the wire. I know, Nikki. I'm a little miffed. Brian told me to chill because I'm upset with people for not warning us. He's like, it's not their responsibility to warn us. When we signed the offer to sell the house, we told them we need to find an apartment ASAP. And here, a lot of realtors deal with helping you find rentals back home, that's not really typical. But here, there's property management companies and realtors and all this stuff. And um, they said, yeah, it's really hard. It's very, uh, yeah, YouTube keeps a big percentage of the super chat donations. I don't know what percent it is, but I do know that the super chat takes a portion, GoFundMe collects a fee, PayPal, depending on how you send it, does not take a fee out. But anyway, I was upset that the realtors didn't warn us. Okay, yeah, go look, but watch out for this. Kind of like as community service warning. And then the bank, Brian and the banker had a conversation about fraud while they're sending the wire, but it wasn't like, are you really sure you want to do this? This is what's going on in our state. No, it was kind of like, yeah, it happens, but. And now I feel like a complete idiot because I had no clue that this was as common as it is for us to talk to the same realtor and her go, oh yeah, about 2/3 of the ads on Craigslist are scams. Okay, you could have mentioned that before we said we're going to go look for somewhere to live. Like, hey, you might want to be really careful. Nothing. Nobody said anything. Maybe they didn't send it, Wendy. I could call first thing tomorrow. Brian is going to be sitting in the parking lot of the bank. He already apparently, now I'm not sure, but he said he talked to the bank president the day he sent the wire. I don't know if he talked to the president about sending the wire and whether or not they should. I don't know. I wasn't with him. But he left a message on the bank president's voicemail, and he's going to be sitting at the bank when it opens tomorrow to get in there immediately because the wire was sent out on, he got to the bank, I think he said too late on Thursday for it to go, so it would have gone on Friday, which means we're only one day in. So he's going to go to the bank first thing in the morning. He's actually going to call the police department first, talk to the detectives, go to the bank in the morning, and then once he gets done with dealing all that, we're going to go apartment hunting, I guess. Use your MasterCard to shop with. I can only use money that I put into that account. One thing they do here is when there is an apartment put up for rent, sometimes the people take fees just to fill out forms and then don't refund it, and then they do that over and over. Yes, Jennifer, they're doing that here too. And that was one of the signs that I forgot. The scammers are the ones who will not charge an application fee. Because they suck you in, like the legitimate ones charge $100 or $200 per application, and then like another $50 per adult for criminal background checks. So for example, for us, it would be $200 plus $50 for the four of us is another $400 just to apply for an apartment. And then if you don't qualify and you're told no, you're out for $400. Well, you do that 2, 3, 4 times, and that's a shit ton of money. So the scammers have kind of no application fee here, and then you get approved, and yep, you're approved, not a problem. Wire me the money, and I'll meet you there on Saturday with the keys. So that's how we got sucked in. But yeah, I did learn that most places will charge between anywhere from $100 to $400 for an application to be submitted. Let's see here. If timing's on your side, only do wires 2 times a day, once in the morning and once in the afternoon. That's how we did it at my other bank, Creative Mayhem. Then they don't even rent the apartments. It's a good amount of money. They take on $50 more each. Yep. Let's see. Morning and afternoon. Yep. So I think we missed the afternoon wire on Thursday, so it would have gone out Friday morning, which means it's only been one day. So we're hoping that with that whatever bank we transferred to, that it's in the States and we'll be able to get it back. Not sure. Selling my car on Gumtree, that's where they emailed me from, the scammers. They used my PayPal. So you sold your car, T, and they were supposed to send you money to your PayPal, but what, they pulled the money out of your PayPal? You have to pay all these fees and everything, but you still move into an unfurnished place, America. Yeah, well, Rachel, that's the thing. You pay application fees and all these other fees, and then they can still say, nope, you don't qualify, or whatever, and you're out that money. And, you know, it takes them, let's say you fill an application, you pay like, I don't know, $200, $300, $400 for your application fee and background checks. Takes them a week to get back to you and you're denied, and now you're 1 week less until they close on the house. So then you do another one, or you pay for a whole bunch at once and, you know, hope that one of them approves you, but you just spent all the money that you would have had for rent. So I don't know what the solution is. It's crazy. That's why I was kind of like with Creative Mayhem, go into a furnished place or a hotel or something, sell the house, and take our time figuring out through a realtor or a property management company a place slowly to find a legitimate place to rent, make sure it's all good, and move in, rather than this scrambling last minute. You're not thinking straight because you're stressed out. You're not doing your due diligence because you're just grabbing whatever you can, and you're not thinking, and you're getting taken for a ride. So stress will make you make mistakes, that's for sure. Yep, I think so. You know, and that's the thing. I can understand that some people absolutely hate moving, absolutely hate it. I'm one of those people, I don't mind, but you know, I don't know. We'll see what happens. Most of the apartments are owned by the same company. Say you get evicted from one place, you can't live it. Yep, Jennifer, I've seen that too here. I've gone on to apartmentfinder.com was one of the recommended sites, and I went there, and they've got the map, and you put in your criteria, and all the little dots come up, and you start clicking on them, and then they all start tracking back to the same management company. Yeah. So you would think then you could do one application for the company and it would cover all of their complexes, but probably not. Probably not. No. But yeah, so that's kind of the challenge too, is also, you know, which comes first, chicken or the egg? Do you find the apartment first and then try and find the storage for the trailer, or do you find the storage for the trailer first and then try and find an apartment nearby? Or do you end up taking one and then the other one ends up an hour away? Who knows? So I'm wondering, since he's talking to you guys, he hasn't gotten the money yet, hoping he would do another transfer before you caught on. That could be, Jackie. It could be. We can only hope, right? That would be nice. I seriously doubt that he is even in the state of Florida, you know, trying to lure him in. I don't think he's even here. I don't even think he's in the country. From what I could hear, you know, Brian talked to him, but I could kind of overhear a little bit. It was very cut up connection. And one of the videos that I watched was saying that, yeah, it's really horrible connections because they're not even in the same country as you. Move to Australia. Yeah, I'd love to, Michelle, but I don't think we can afford the airfare. That's probably about the same as the deposit for an apartment. They do have the rent can vary a lot though, from one place to another for the pets. I've noticed some places it's like maybe an extra $10 a month and no extra pet deposit. Other places it's like an extra $50 a month. So that's where, like Spasmodic Arts was saying to me, because we got Jasmine for my depression, my psychiatrist recommended it to get her actually certified therapy dog or something, and I guess then they can't charge you extra rent for it. So I need to look into that if we end up with a place that either doesn't allow pets, they have to take it or whatever, or not charge more. Yep, certified as a service animal. So I'm wondering if I have to actually make an appointment and go into the doctor in order to have that done, or if it's a phone call, because obviously, it would be a whole lot less expensive for me to be able to have them just do it with a phone call. But I don't really know a lot about it yet. And of course, the scammer, he didn't care that we had a dog. Sure, as many as you want. Letter from the doctor stating that you require canines for daily needs is all that you required here. Thank you, Amber. So I'm writing that down. So just a letter. Thank you very much. Yep. And I'm guessing it doesn't have to be my general practitioner. It can be my psychiatrist, right? I mean, it seems to me it would be my mental health professional would be the one. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I have to see her every 3 months anyway for my meds, so I should be able to just call and put that in. Yours was a medical doctor. Yeah, I would think the psychiatrist too, because they can write prescriptions. So you got one for your dog. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of, probably the best thing to do. I've heard that it works well, especially for the big complexes that are corporately owned, but not necessarily for, private owners. If they don't want a dog in the house, they'll just say, well, I want somebody else for other reasons. So yours was a neurologist. Yeah, I would think either type of doctor would be able to give you that kind of note. You don't have to pay rent for dogs or cats. Okay, Sherry. Yeah, see, that's what I was thinking, is it'd be a good idea to do the psychiatrist. Okay. And they have to just take a letter. It doesn't have to be like some fancy certificate that you frame in have a diamond painting of or anything. So maybe wear a little vest. So yeah, I think that's gonna have to be on my short list of to-do things. Get that taken care of before we. A 3-sentence letter. Okay. I should ask the scammer to send me one. As long as we paid him all that money, can you send me a letter saying my dog? Get something out of it. You're getting a certificate for your diabetic turtle. I want the little turtle's footprints inked. You put it in there, like thumbprints, Teach her to get in a bag like Crispin. It's gonna have to be a really big bag. Okay, so I was thinking about this the other day, and then I forgot when I actually made my video. I've got one to edit, but Jasmine is now so fat that when she's laying on her side, and I've seen this over and over again, like in the last month, she looks like a bloated raccoon on the side of a road because she's so plump that her feet stick straight out of her body. It doesn't like rest on the ground. It just sticks straight out. So her front and back legs are just like straight in the air. And she's dead asleep because she's so fat her leg can't touch the ground anymore. I don't understand fully, but I got an email, as I thought at the time was from PayPal, which told me I'd get, and that would show the transfer from them of the 2,900 pounds and to open the email. How did you find out you were being scammed? Lori, he made arrangements to meet him at the house on Saturday to get the keys after we had wired him the deposit and the rent. And he never showed up. His mom suddenly was in intensive care and he couldn't make it and put us off over and over again. that afternoon. So Brian called the police and they talked to the neighbors and found out the house had been in foreclosure 3 years ago. And um, apparently there have been renters in there, but not this guy. It's some LLC out of Missouri or something that owns it. So that was one of my other ideas. I said to Brian, now again, this all takes time. We don't have the time. Figure out who actually owns the house and ask them if we can rent it from them. So, because they've had renters, but the neighbor said whoever rents for the last 3 years, they only last 1 year and they're gone. Nobody ever renews their lease. So there's probably like something really wrong with the house, you know, like who knows? Like, I have no idea, but you can imagine that there's something really bad with the house that you don't want to stay because nobody ever renews. So T, did they took the money out of your account, or they just got away with the car and never sent you money? Right, Michelle? His plumber, he told his plumber to leave the back door open because he had some people who were going to look at the house. Now, it had a regular, like, mechanical lockbox on the door handle, and then it also had a touchpad lock deadbolt. And he gave us the code to the deadbolt electronic lock, and it didn't work. Kept trying it, and then I said, it's not working. The code that you gave us isn't working. He goes, okay, just go around back. I told the plumber to leave the door open just in case it didn't work. It's been a little touchy lately. And we went around back, and yeah, the sliding glass door was open. So what we've learned is that they'll find these foreclosures, break in, and then put up the Craigslist ad once they know that they can get into the house. Or they'll get in and have a locksmith change the locks, actually make keys, and take you on a walkthrough so that you think it's completely legitimate. You know, they let you in the house, you watch them do the key, the whole thing, you give them the money, and then the police show up and you're trespassing. I have a lease. No, this is fake. This is fraud. You need to get out or we're going to arrest you. That's kind of the thing. What you doing there? I'm doing nothing. I was going to kit something up, but I'm having trouble concentrating. I'm not used to doing lives. I don't think I've ever done a live where I've actually tried to work on something. I usually just stare right at the screen and talk to you guys. Some of the people that I've watched these stories on, I find them fascinating, but they had the landlord didn't want to take them to the house. They met him in a McDonald's 2 blocks from the house, exchanged the money and keys, and drove away. That, I think I would have had a little more red flag if I'm handing you cash at McDonald's 2 blocks from the house. But, yeah. Right, Michelle? Yeah, the cop said that it's so complicated the way that they do this that even they have trouble figuring out that it's a scam because they're even filing counterfeit titles on the houses. So when you do a title search, and that's what the property management companies do, is they'll do a title search to see who owns it, and it'll look like it's all legitimate, but apparently you got to dig through the title and see if there's any red flag hits on it or not. So even then, you're not sure. So yeah, it just keeps taking me right back to the what do you do to know you're okay other than going into the leasing office at an apartment complex. I don't know. Because yeah, I mean they're literally putting the key in the door and walking you into the house. So you think that they have it. I even thought that the first one that we looked at could have been a scam because there was people living in it. They clearly lived there. They had all their furniture, 2 little kids running around the whole thing, dogs everywhere. I mean, it was clearly lived in. But it just seemed weird to me because I don't know, there's just something my intuition said this doesn't seem right. And that was the one that we put the stop payment on the check and took the other one instead. Because more of those news stories were that you have disgruntled people who are being evicted and they'll do a scam for the apartment that they're in and get the money, and by the time you figure out they're gone. So I don't know. Rhonda, no, even the realtors, they have disclosures in their stuff now that they can't be held liable for fraudulent properties because they don't realize that they're renting out scam houses too, because the scammers contact a realtor to list the house with the fake title and all of that stuff. The realtor takes them through and rents it out, and then next thing you know, the police show up and you're trespassing because even the realtor doesn't realize it. Since Jasmine's your emotional support dog, shouldn't you have to pay? Yeah, I just need to get the letter, Tammy. I gotta get that taken care of. I wonder though, the places that say no pets, I mean, I know that they legally have to let you have them, but I worry about, I guess, the nasty looks from other people when I'm walking her at a place that doesn't allow dogs. I don't want to deal with that on a daily basis. I mean, do any of you have that where you're at a place that doesn't allow dogs, but you have your support dog? And are people cool about it, or are they assholes? Personally, I wouldn't care if people gave me nasty looks about it. You have something that you need her help with. That is true. But, you know, I'm sure it's the same for anybody who has something that's out of the ordinary. You feel judged, whatever. My partner wouldn't let dogs, but literally 40%. Oh, you know, that's probably true, Elizabeth, especially down here. You wouldn't care. You have a knife. Yeah. I have a service dog, and most people, or except there's some people here, are a bit nasty. I would think so. You know, I love watching her after a bath on towels. She is kind of crazy. She needs a bath. She's getting a little stinky, but you understand what I'm saying. You have fibromyalgia, degenerative disc, and degenerative joint disorders, so you understand being judged very well. Yes, absolutely, Amber. People can be really shitty human beings at times, and then there's people who are very nice about it. When she was a puppy, we actually took her into a couple of stores. I mean, when she was, you know, a handful puppy, took her in a couple and kind of just like walked right in with her. And sometimes they didn't say a word, and somebody else said, "Oh, is that your service animal?" And Brian just nodded. And so but I have a feeling with as many people there are here, there's tons and tons of people down here who have dogs and cats. It's like every corner, I'm going to add into that. Every corner has a Walgreens or a CVS, a trailer park, and an animal hospital. So lots of pet owners down here. And I bet you anything, with as many people there are here on disability and came to retire for the weather or whatever, that there's probably tons of service animals, and it's probably going to be the same thing, Elizabeth, that there'll be plenty of other service animals in a no pet complex that I shouldn't let it bother me. And I try not to be a person who lets what other people think bother me, but sometimes you can't help but let it bother you. So, yeah. Jen was very cute, very, very cute. Rhonda, she looked like a little baby harp seal, a little fluff ball white thing. She was very cute. You get crazy looks because you're walking a turtle. Yeah. At least you don't have to walk very far. Yeah, that's true, Amber. Amber says, I think it's difficult right now because you're going through so very much that it wouldn't take much more to make the hurt overwhelming. That's very true. I'm very emotional. Um, my joke, no joke, my bird John has a leash. I'm, yeah, I would take my bird for a walk on a leash. Yeah, it doesn't take a lot to set me off right now because it's like a tightrope, kind of a tightrope of sanity. But, you know, my default is always to go to humor, try and make a joke out of it. Not everybody finds it funny, like making light of a situation or whatever, but yeah. Um, he does therapy work, so it's required. I don't know, but lost 700 pounds. Sorry, I'm really confused as to what happened to me. I didn't process things very well with the fibro fog. Oh, you still have your car. Okay, well, that's good, T. But somehow they managed to withdraw money out of your PayPal account. Do you, file a dispute with PayPal? How big is yours, Sophia's mama? I know, I think I heard you say this, what was last night or the night before in a live, that your service animal is big. I see some of those comedians who are making jokes about all the people on the airplanes with their emotional support animals, and it's getting ridiculous. But hey, if it helps you be calm enough to not wig out on an airplane, why not? I did see a blind woman who had instead of a seeing eye dog, she had a seeing eye Shetland pony. Wore little tennis shoes. Louisiana, I've never even heard of that, but I know Great Danes are huge. Your brain went dirty when you said, how big is yours? Sorry. Who was it the other day? I was watching somebody's and they kept saying something, and I was just like, yeah, I was doing the same thing, Jennifer. My brain was like, but I was being quiet. I was lurking that day. Big gorgeous puppy. One of my Eskimos is 80 pounds standard. The others are miniatures. My intention was for Jasmine to be a petite dog, a purse dog, and it didn't turn out that way because she's bloated roadkill now. But yeah, she was supposed to be 9 to 11 pounds was the standard, and she's got to be 20 now. She's double the size she should be. Yeah, too many treats. Absolutely. Jessie has been taking her for walks around the block, which is 1 mile. So that's good. That's one of the things I should probably start doing too once things settle down, is to start getting some exercise, not only for her, but for my mental well-being, and to hopefully help me sleep at night. You just peed my pants. Where's my dependence? Bloated roadkill. She is. I'm telling you. You know how the raccoons and the legs stick straight out? That's Jasmine when she sleeps now. She's a Bichon. Oh, is she? No, she is. She's a Coton de Tuileries. COTONDETULEAR. I had never heard of it before, but I took an online quiz, what's your perfect breed? And that was what came up. And they were right. She's perfect for me. She is no shed, hypoallergenic, low energy, quiet, basically a fluffy doorstop with personality. Yep, I had never heard of it either. She's the closest thing would be, yeah, like a Maltese probably, but I think Maltese can be a little more vocal. Jasmine's pretty quiet. Your grandma's dog looks like she has rigor mortis when she sleeps. She's a Bichon Maltese. We went, when we were looking for houses, when we originally were house hunting, we came down a few times for like long weekends and looked at listings. And this one woman had this house that she had a greyhound. She had a greyhound, and it was a geriatric greyhound, and he was laying on the couch sleeping apparently, and so still that we thought it was a stuffed dog, but he was sleeping with one eye open and his tongue hanging out. It was the weirdest thing, but yeah, it was. Bye, Jennifer. Have a good evening. Yeah, so this big greyhound was laying there with his tongue hanging out. Like, it just reminds me of the pictures Brian takes when he kills a deer and they've always got their tongue like lolling out the side of their head. That's how her dog was laying on the couch. It was really kind of creepy. You've never heard of her breed, but yeah, okay. And yeah, she needs another bath. And I need to ask you, is it Abra with a long A or Abra, like abracadabra? How is it pronounced, please? Abra or Abra? Because I don't know and I want to not be mispronouncing your name. Your son's dealing with it for me. Hopefully get it back. The police said it's happening a lot. Yeah, it's cybercrime. It's the new thing, huh? I know it's definitely happened here. Abracadabra. Wonder if the new owners of the house would let you stay there and rent from them for a couple of months until you find a place with pay. I had suggested that to Brian. The problem is you know, he's like, well, it could take me a half a day or longer to figure out who the real owners are and contact them and present that idea. It's worth looking into, but do you spend half a day trying to track down who the owners are and have them go, hell no, versus spending that half a day trying to find a different apartment? It's like you're just the clock's ticking, you know. We're supposed to close on the house on the 10th, but you know, if we can get out of here, we could move it up. Abra. A or A? Bra. Abra, like Abra. What would rhyme with that? Or abracadabra. Does it rhyme with abracadabra or not? Because otherwise it would be Abra, right? Like a long A. You don't mind how it's pronounced. Just call you Dexter. Get your knife. Abra. Oh, that's another idea. So now we have a third option if it's Abra. Put down the knife, Miss. Put down the knife, Rachel. Maybe what we could do, forget the apartment. Let's just go live on a boat. The soft Abra. Abra. Like opera, but Abra. Is that right? Abra. Okay. So like opera, but Abra. Okay. Abra. You need a woman with a knife right now, just saying. Is that off? I just bought 12 kits from New Frog. You don't know how many times I was going to write down Dexter when I was talking to you in chat. Well, I'm glad I cleared it up. Makes me really glad that my name is so simple. You know what? My dad pronounces my name wrong. So, been letting us pronounce it wrong. Well, it took a lot of effort for me to get it right, Miss Coffee. So it wasn't just like, she could just keep typing her name over and over again and get it. It's hooked on phonics. Like the sound I make when I take off my bra. Most people can't pronounce the word esky for some reason, and that's part of my diamond painting channel name. I fuss all the time about spelling people's names wrong. She said nothing. We have a family t-shirt that says it's a Dexter thing you wouldn't understand, and everyone assumes it's from either the Dexter cartoon or the Dexter serial killer. Wendy, if you live on a cruise ship, you get 3 meals a day and a beautiful changing scenery. Yes, I could be the activities director, diamond painting and bingo. Brian could be the guy who does the skeet shooting and fishing off the back of the boat. He could be a bartender. I could do scratch art, bingo. What else could we do? Play oh shit, spades, hearts. I don't know, whatever. Pictionary. Yeah, there we go. We're all going to work on the cruise ship. Teach knitting and Italian. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. And the dance instructor. I don't know which one of us would be doing that. Yeah, they have cruises out of Tampa. We'll just both sign up to work on the cruise ship. That'd be awesome. Chicks with jazz. I love me some bingo. Yeah, I could do that. You worked as a bartender at a strip club for 2 years. Just saying, I got drinks. I told Brian that his second job, he could be a bartender because he used to be a bartender. But he's made it like no, there's all these complicated drinks these days. I wouldn't be able to do it. Plus, I can't stay awake past 7 o'clock. So, yeah. Wendy's Wonderful Way Cruise. I will book it now. Irish dialogue lessons. Yeah. Bad Irish dialogue. Computerized calling bingo. Yeah. Yeah. That would be fun, wouldn't it? Day drinker bar. There you go. See, he could be the bartender at a strip club because they'll go at lunch. Redneck Beauty can be the dance instructor with the pole dancing. Still hear you reading me that book. Yeah. I have a couple chapters of your book recorded from, that must have been a month ago, Miss Coffee. I recorded it, but I haven't had a chance to get and record more, and I'm not going to just release a little bit of it. So one of these days. Pole dancing fitness lessons. Yeah, I could live on a cruise ship. That'd be pretty cool. But I think you probably go to the same 3 islands over and over again because they probably only go to, who knows, where they go out of Tampa, Nassau, and Puerto Rico, and I don't know. I have no idea. They have knitting cruises, and I think they're starting cross-stitching cruise now. We need a diamond painting cruise. I'm just saying. Yeah, I've heard that they were doing a diamond painting cruise or talking about it for paint with diamonds, but yeah. I would so do the activities on a cruise ship. Then I'd have to be around people all the time. I could just live stream into the next room. Mrs. Coffee's book is sultry. It's like 501 Shades of Gray. We're going to have a retreat at Laura's house. Just do our diamond painting and eats lots of foods. Yep. If I was to go on a cruise, I would probably want to do the drink package so I could stay drunk the whole time because I never drink anymore. And I could afford to have a little escape from life for a while. Contemporary romance. Hey, Lynn. I want shellfish I can eat my weight in crab like shrimp and lobster. Yes. Rental scam. Oh no. Yeah, Bex. We got taken. We had borrowed money for deposit and first month's rent and got scammed. So good times. Now we're brainstorming what we're gonna do. Right now the suggestion, and I'm all for it, is Brian and I will go start working on the cruise ships because we get 3 meals a day and tips. I'm guessing probably tips. I think so. Yeah, 3 meals a day, tips. Don't have to pay rent, heat, none of that. Usually get sick in boats. Yeah, I'm good with I don't get seasick. Brian doesn't either, obviously. He's got his captain's license. He could take people on, all kinds of excursions. Jesse's 21 now. He could also be, he could be a bartender too, but he's got school. I've read a couple chapters of the first one, Michelle. It's just been crazy. I haven't had any downtime, and I miss you guys so much that if I did have downtime, I've been trying to sneak in little snippets of recordings to patch something together. That's why my last couple of videos have been like 8 minutes long because I just don't have any free time. Every time I sit down, I'm like looking for apartments or looking for this or looking for that or whatever. Just stumbled onto your live. I would tip you great. Never been on a cruise. They are fun, Lynn. I've been on a couple when I was young. Last time I went on one was my honeymoon, first marriage, 21 years ago. Not sure about your dog being on a cruise ship if they allowed that. I don't know. That's an excellent point. Because if it's a service animal, guessing they probably figured something out that they have a little patch of grass somewhere for all the animals. Very tiny living quarters for the staff, though. I saw special ones that had flashbacks to college dorm life. Though, the actual cabins that you're in are pretty damn small, too. My brother, when we went on a cruise once, when we were in I think he was 20-ish, I was like 18, 19, he got drunk and he actually got stuck between the toilet and the wall and we couldn't get him out. He passed out down there. It was almost at the jaws of life to get him out of the bathroom. I love cruises. I think they're fun. It's great for people who are introverts because all you do is sit on a boat and wait to be delivered at your next destination, where you sit on a bus and go on a tour and don't talk to anybody. I love it. Should have a retreat here in Phoenix for everyone that lives in cold weather during the winter because we have great, y'all can eat Chinese food places. Yes, and seafood places. Absolutely. Very big table. Amber. Yes, going to Amber's. End up with buttery drills. Some do allow pets. I would have to think that they have to these days with all of the, service animals. Worked on one for 8 years. I would think that you would begin to miss your family after a while, unless your spouse was working there too. Outside large room, they loved it. Yeah, if you can afford an outside room, that's great. Every time I went, I was on an inside room with no window, so it was pitch black. In the bottom of the boat, next to, the freight elevator kind of thing. She's single and loving life. Yep. But it depends on Jazzy. Yeah. That was Brian's concern if we did end up moving into an apartment and we weren't on a ground floor with like a patio door or something to be able to just let her kind of go in and out, is having to put her on a schedule of walking her, because she's been down here now for close to 2 years and been on her own schedule. But I said, I've always had dogs that could make it the 8 or 9 hours I'm at work during the day. I don't think it's a big deal. I work from home. I can take, my lunch break, and take her out halfway through my shift. I don't think it'll be an issue, but yeah, I mean, he had a good point, having to go down the elevator if there is one and out to the whatever, the dog run kind of area. I don't know, but I think we can make it work, but we'll see. Obviously, it would be preferable to have a place where she can just have a dog door, but yeah. Let's see her. It's not hubby might like me not coming back here. I miss my home state. Oh, you're originally from Arizona. Okay. My hotel's owner wants to buy a catamaran, put a bar on it, looking to have day tours around the local islands. But this is Ireland, where winds are PMSy. Yeah. That was one of my worries about being closer to the water is, we had Irma 2 months after we moved here, and that was scary enough. And being that much closer to the Gulf, worrying about hurricanes, I don't know. They're always going to have something wherever you live, I guess. I just left my husband in January. I wish he'd go back to his home state, Michigan. Is he hanging around, Amber? If you need help, Amber, I have a knife. Oh my goodness. He won't leave you alone. You know what, Amber? I have, money's tight. So my therapeutic resources are Jennifer Roberts and YouTube. You can pretty much find whatever topic you want and on YouTube and start some free therapy. That's what I've been doing. Come to Arizona, hotter than hell in the summer, but you learn to do errands and outdoor stuff early in the morning or after dark. I live in Tucson, which is smaller than Phoenix. At this point, Google is going to start showing your advertisements on nice, yeah, right? Chicago Cutlery and what were those ones? What were those knives that were so on the infomercials? I can't think of them. Why do I keep picturing you as some sort of soft-speaking ninja with a switchblade? Oh. Rachel is itching to shank someone. Ginsu. Yes, thank you. Ginsu knives. Yep, those are the ones. Rachel's going to have like streaming Ginsu 30-minute ads on all of her videos. Ginsu, yeah. Look, you can cut through this tin can and slice a tomato. When I was watching Jennifer's video the other night, I thought it was very appropriate that the ad I got was for that, what is it? Miss Coffee, I think you know this, the videos for falling asleep to, head right, head smart, head something. It was like a therapy video on a therapy ad on Jennifer's channel. I can't think of the name of it now, but yeah, I thought that was pretty good. Does anyone still have and use those knives? Well, everybody who ever bought them does, Lynn, because they last forever. I almost did weapons training with my martial arts dojo. A lot of desert to bury things, people in Arizona, just saying. Love those knives. I always said there's nothing like making a salad after you get done murdering a can. I'm a former Navy, Roxanne. Oh my God. Or you could make a salad after you finish cutting up a body and burying it in the sand. Just saying. Cut bone. Great selling point. Oh my gosh. At this rate, I might try that. Sounds like you have it under control. Gross. It is gross. I got a weird freebie offer this morning. Everyone ever heard of? No, I can't even say it. It sounds to me like some sort of gelatin. Gua sha. Okay, I'm gonna actually try and like accomplish something because I'm finally like wound down enough. I was all stressed out earlier. You guys kind of made me relax and laugh and have some fun and kind of chill out a little bit. Sounds like a weird supplement. Oh, I have it in a video that I'm going to post, but I wanted to show you guys this. This was from Glymaga, this painting. And if any of you remember ever seeing labels like this, you know, the cash register receipts where they fade. Has anybody else seen this? It's like almost completely faded. You can't see what number it is anymore. So if anybody else had any labels on their baggies from companies, you might want to check, because once it's completely vanished, good luck figuring out what it is. I can see just enough to know what they are. It's really bad. Yep. So yeah, if you get any, unbox anything, just consider possibly putting, if you think it's one of those heat labels, put your own on to it as well if you're going to store it for any length of time. Gusha has been used to help alleviate chronic pain. The increase in blood flow and direct application to trouble areas can help relieve discomfort. Yeah, I guess the only saving grace you would have, Amber, is if you had the DMC chart to try and match them up. But of course, you've got, you know, like they're awfully close in color. Trying to figure that out. And it would just suck. But yeah, there's only a few that really faded really, really badly, but I can just make out what they are to be able to still pit them up. So yeah, but Marianne gets cool points for the Google search. Thankfully you do your cross stitch for 2. Yep, absolutely. Now you need to go buy a lot more containers so that you can keep up all of your stash so that the labels won't fade. That sucks. Yep. Yep, it sure does. Okay, and I picked the wrong size. It's not going to all fit. Gotta go to the next one. Oily drills. I just power through. I don't wash them anymore. There we go. Morning, Diana in the rough. What are you talking about, bruises? I missed something. Oh, here. Let me see. No. Oh, it's a scraper. Use it on skin to release blocked lymph nodes. I watch the videos. Bizarre. Oh, ooh. Ooh. So it leaves bruises? That doesn't sound good. Blocked lymph nodes. This is a 40 by 50 and it's only my second project and I'm loving it. But if I lost track of the colors, I would lose track of my mind. I had that issue when I did that rhinestone cottage. The colors of silver were so close together that I frequently couldn't tell what the hell I was doing, and I lost my mind on that one. All right, what was I doing? 154. Railroads up, take mine off your pain, right? Michael said 40% off today, so made a craft mate. Oh, $12.60. That's awesome. I love those craft mates, but yeah, they're expensive if you're trying to, you know, like have a whole hoard of stuff in it. I've got 4 of them, and I think I got all of mine for like $8 each. Bruising can last about a week or 2, but my back generally feels better after it. The first time it can last longer, the bruising, but after that it gets quicker. I am doing one of the ones from my very original purchase. The first AliExpress purchase I ever made, tea from the Kalaimaka store. So I did the unboxing video probably back in June or July. It's the orchids, and it's small. It's a 40 by 40. I just, you know, with us potentially moving fairly soon, I wanted to do something and get it done quick, so I'm not in the middle of painting when we move. And then of course I always have something going while I'm working to work on in between calls to kind of keep my focus. But yeah. So that's what I'm gonna do. The one I just finished, the Pink Peony from Evermoment, that one took me 10 days. So this is probably half the size. So I'm thinking I should be able to get it done in, 5 days or less. I have no idea what the quality is going to be. I can see the very first one I opened is oily, but we're going to go with it. I don't care. I'm not going to deal with that. Thank you, T. Thank you, everybody. Yes, I thought it was pretty colors. I originally think I bought it for the bathroom, my bathroom, because it's got purpley plum kind of color. But now I've got that peacock hanging in there. I do still have a spot over the towels, but hey, I'm only going to live here for a couple more weeks, so it doesn't matter. Happy Sunday, Vanessa. I've been going through a runaround with my new painting from Cami. I'm going back to my physio that does the technique, as I have degenerative disc disease and a herniated disc. Also improves my pain in the left arm that has something in it. Let's see here. He said it was sent, but I haven't gotten it. I'm spilling these all over the place. This one's oily too. Awesome. This container is also too small. I'm not very good at this. This is why I don't do this on camera live. Yeah, these are really, it reminds me of like when you clean a fish tank and the rocks in the bottom are all wet and clumpy. It's exactly what this is like. Yeah, this is really bad. Horrid. Yeah, it's really, really bad. Look at that. Bad stuff. Yep, it's just like the pea gravel in the bottom of a fish tank when you go to clean it. This is how I ended up wrecking my table that one time with those black drills. This is exactly what happened. They spilled all over the tabletop, I scooped them up with my hand and it smeared black ink or dye all over the tabletop. And yet I didn't learn from my mistake because here I am sitting here doing this right on my table without anything down. Pea gravel, either kind, they both work. CRPS, complex regional pain syndrome, a very nasty pain disorder. That's the most painful condition out there. Oh my gosh, I can't even imagine. So I'm guessing it's something where your nerves are sending incorrect pain signals to the brain concentrated in one area, which localizes it to a very specific spot, causing more intense pain than a pain that's radiated across a bigger area. Just a guess. Am I close? Oil probably saturated through the Ziploc bags, and that's what faded the label. Could be. That's a good theory. We'll see if it's only the oily ones that faded. Tells your brain to have constant severe pain. Debilitating swelling called CPRS2. Wow, see, I understand. I don't even remember what it was like to have a day without excruciating pain. I can't even imagine. I cannot imagine. It's got to be really hard to stay positive when your constant norm is pain and suffering. Wow, close. It actually involves every system and you're in constant pain, swelling that it's severe and part of, yeah, okay, so the swelling, you were right with that, Rhonda. Yeah. So I was close. Okay, so I have absolutely no, I was total guess. Every system. Wow. And then you're probably dealing on top of it with the meds and all of the restrictions with the opioids and all that crap and that I was talking about where you, regulations and you can't get your medications and all that crap too. I can't even imagine. I am so sorry that you guys are dealing with that. Brian may want a police officer or sheriff to meet him at the bank. If you can stop the transfer, they can. Yeah, I don't know. I'll mention it to him. I told him I wouldn't go past oh, I think I told him 9, so actually I should be getting off. I told him that I was gonna go from 7 to 9, and I just noticed that it's 20 after. Marijuana help with the symptoms of this disorder. There's Dawn going straight to the weed. Solved everything. Just kidding. Far out. Oh, maybe that's the solution to my problems. Oh my God. I don't think so. I was approved for medical marijuana, but it's so expensive, the regular is better. I had to do that for a couple of months till the pain clinic decided what to try next. It sucked. All the people treat you like you're a druggie. Helps with pain disorder. It's about 50 Australian for a bottle. How long's a bottle last? Gotta get to bed. Pain pump refill at 7:30. Hate getting up early. I'm sorry, Jackie. I hate getting up early too, but I don't have a pain pump. I just have first world problems, I guess. I don't know. All right, what number was this? 550. Medical marijuana license for my pain. CBD oils help me change my life. Herniated disc pressing on my nerve. L5S1. I don't know what the different vertebrae are and all that, but I do know from going to a chiropractor, I have an extra one. Apparently. Whichever ones are the lower ones, I have an extra one. Which probably explains why it was really hard for me to find one-piece bathing suits. They were always not long enough in the torso. You had extra wisdom teeth? I was missing a wisdom tooth. I only had 3. Maybe that's what happened. Somewhere in my development, my wisdom tooth turned into a vertebrae. Okay, yep, that's right, Creative Mayhem. I'm extra. It's just in the spine. Okay, try pronouncing this. So for those of you with chronic pain, try this. Palmitoyl Lamide. My husband, drunk from celebrations, wants you to know that a bagel can be placed in a toasty bag and indeed can be toasted like bread. I always just put my bagel in the toaster like a regular piece of bread and toast it. No bag. Okay. Well, I think I'm going to call it a night, guys. I am so glad that you all came to keep me company, lift my spirits. I am in such a better mood than I was 2.5 hours ago. I owe it to all of you guys. You're absolutely wonderful. But my husband is probably struggling to stay awake right now, and he did specifically request that I spend some time with him this evening. So I could just leave the camera rolling so you can all talk, or I could shut it off. Your choice. Thank you, Sherry. Yes, you guys absolutely cheered me up. I feel so much better. So much better. You guys are my therapy. Absolutely. It's, I needed a little boost today. You guys did it for me. You're awesome. And I'm sorry, Ginger. I will try to do this a little more often than never. You are absolutely welcome for hosting. I know I never announce it because my life is chaos and I just kind of throw it out there. I do tend to check the calendar, and it looked like nobody was on it until Christy, I believe, is at 10. So you got about 36 minutes to go potty. Smoke them if you got them. Get a fresh drink and a snack. If you want, you can put a bagel in a bag, toast that up just like bread. Get ready for Christy. And I love you guys. I'll see you all as soon as possible. And if you don't see me, it's because I'm lurking. I'm lurking and not saying anything. But catch you all later. I'll let you know what's going on. And I do have a video to edit and put out from Valerie sending me a gift that I unboxed. And I will put that together and put it out when I can. So, good night, everybody. Abra. And Sweet tea. Love you, girl. And good luck with your son helping you with your little PayPal scam thing. I hope that all works out for you. Deb, love you. Creative Mayhem. Good night. Michelle, you are awesome. Love you. Have a good night, Rachel. It's probably in the wee hours in the morning, I'm guessing. Amber, thank you for keeping me company. Good night, Shania. Okay. Good night, everybody. This is like Mrs. Coffee with the Romper Room intros. I'm saying good night to everybody. Love you, everybody. Okay. I'm gonna shut it off now. Okay. Bye-bye. Oh, I gotta get and walk around. That's right. My camera's over here. Silly me. Okay. Bye, guys.